Today we're going to be talking about college parties, because contrary to popular belief, I actually did party in college. Partying is one of the most well-known parts of the college experience, and this is mainly because college students are really good at making bad decisions. And a party is the perfect place to do a bunch of things that you'll regret in the morning. If you're watching this video, you're probably someone who's either in college, about to start college, or you're a college graduate looking for some content that's #relatable. But if this is the first time you've ever been to a party that doesn't involve laser tag, it can be pretty scary trying to fit in when you really just want to go home. Some people think that partying isn't for them, but this is really just because you haven't been to the right kind of party. When I started college, I hadn't been to a party ever, so I was pretty shocked when I went to my first party and a random girl started twerking on me. And I didn't really know what to do, so I just kind of stood there while she did her thing. The point is that there are actually several different types of college parties, with each one offering a different kind of experience. So here's everything you need to know about surviving your next college party, because we all deserve a night that we'll remember forever, instead of one that we'd rather forget. Now, before the party actually begins, there are two important things that you need to take care of. The first is figuring out what you're gonna wear, and the second is figuring out how the hell you're actually gonna get there. So unless you're going to a pajama party, you need to pick out a fit. If you're a girl, you're probably gonna pick an outfit that makes you feel attractive and shows off some of your best features. And if you're a guy, it's pants and a t-shirt, because nobody cares anyway. The next step is deciding on how you and your group are gonna get to the party itself, which is pretty much just figuring out who the hell is gonna pay for the Uber. If you have a car, you might be tempted to just drive, but this is a bad idea, because driving equals no drinking, which equals no fun. But drinking equals no driving, which equals no party. And drinking plus driving equals jail. So either way, the math just doesn't add up. Now, after you and your squad are all dripped out and ready to go, it's time to fit 7 people into the back of some random guy's Ford Focus and head to your destination. So after you hop out of the Uber, you may be a little confused when you arrive at a location that isn't the party. This is because no matter what kind of party you're headed to, you have to get through the pregame first. The pregame is like a small party before the party where everyone plans out their night and begins consuming whatever abusable substance helps them forget about the fact that they're failing chemistry. Pregaming is a big part of party culture because you can start getting drunk before the party begins. This is important because if you show up to a party sober, you might end up realizing that parties actually kinda suck. So first up, we got big parties. These are the kind you hear about through social media or by word of mouth from other students. And these are less like actual parties and more like going to the club. And just like going to the club, it is a terrible experience. The entire point of these parties is to have as many people under one roof as legally possible. But the problem is that nobody actually enjoys going to them. So most of the hype comes from people gaslighting each other into thinking it's gonna be a good time, even though we all know it never is. But people still decide to go because of FOMO. If you don't know what FOMO is, it's the fear of missing out. Because you can go to 10 terrible parties in a row, and the one night you decide to stay home, you find out Drake showed up and gave everybody $10,000. Now, despite how terrible they are, you'll probably attend several of these parties throughout your time in college. So if you want to avoid being a certified weather app warrior, here's some tips to follow. Number 1, if you're a guy, expect to pay more to get in. Nobody wants a sausage fest, and 20 at the door is just enough to keep the testosterone in the room at a manageable level. Number 2, drink some water. It's gonna get really hot in there, and if you're like me, the alcohol is gonna make you piss out all the fluid in your body anyway, so make sure you stay hydrated. 3, at some point in the night, some random local artist is gonna get on stage and perform, and it will be the worst song you've ever heard in your life. And number 4, try to have fun. I know that's like veteran difficulty at a party like this, but just try to stay close to your friends and hope that the DJ at least plays your favorite song at some point. Next, we have house parties. A house party is when you have a party at someone's house. Shocking, I know. And these are honestly my favorite type of party because the alcohol is free and there's usually a place to sit down. Another good thing about house parties is that they tend to be invite only, meaning that in order to get in, you either have to know the host or know someone who knows the host. This is good because it means that if you've ever been invited to a house party, at least one person in your life thinks you're cool. House parties are a lot more chill and the music isn't so loud that your eardrums bleed, so it's easily a much more enjoyable experience. Now, despite there being a lot less space, there are actually a lot of different ways to enjoy yourself at a house party. You can dance, you can chill on the couch, and you can try to flirt with women by walking up to them and going, "Oh, wow, your hands are so small. Do you want to compare them with mine?" But while house parties have a lot to offer, no real house party is complete without a beer pong table. Beer pong is a staple of college house parties because it's a great icebreaker and puts talking to women on easy mode. Because there's nothing more alpha than chasing a ping pong ball across the room after you completely miss the table. While beer pong is a really fun party game, nobody likes it when you sit around camping the table all night, because there are other guys at the party who want a chance to flirt with women who aren't interested in them too. The most important thing about a house party is the vibe, which is why the host is responsible for making sure that the guest list is full of people who won't mess them up. No creepy dudes to scare the women, no girls that just sit on their phones for the entire evening, and most importantly, no shitty music. The best things about a house party are the laid-back environment and the chance to meet new people. So as long as you're chill and respectful, it's pretty easy to have a good time before you get a little too faded and send some questionable texts to your ex. Okay, now let's talk about frat parties. Frat parties are hosted by members of a Greek fraternity on campus. And I can tell you firsthand that they are nothing like the frat parties you see in the movies. These parties usually take place at a frat house, which almost makes them like a house party. But unlike a house party, the inside of a frat house is perhaps the most disgusting place you'll ever set foot in. If you ask me to pick between fighting a polar bear and licking the floor in a frat house, let me know when the next flight to Antarctica is. I think I have a better chance of surviving the bear over whatever biohazard can be found on that floor. The thing about frat parties is that they're notoriously hard to get into. Not just because you need to be a member to get in, but because you also need to be white. Now, if you find yourself in the unfortunate position of being a racial minority, there are still ways you can get in. The best way is to show up with one of the two things that every frat party needs: alcohol or women. Now, once you've managed to get inside the party, you may be surprised to hear a bunch of people saying the N-word, only to realize there isn't a single black person in sight. The reality about frat parties is that they're just like any other party, except all the guys are wearing dry fit polos and khaki shorts. The key to surviving a frat party is knowing when to leave. And the best time to leave a frat party is as soon as you get there. But if you end up staying longer than that for some reason, just be sure to make it out before one of the members starts collecting allegations like infinity stones. Lastly, we have darties. And darty is short for day party. And in case it wasn't obvious enough, this is a party that happens during the day. Darties are special because they're one of the few times in life when it's socially acceptable to be drunk while the sun is up, with the other two times being when you're tailgating or brunch. The most common type of darty is a pool party, because when you have a bunch of drunk people around a pool with no lifeguards, nothing could possibly go wrong. The thing about darties is that the vibe is completely different from a regular party. This is because it's a lot harder to hide your shame under the warmth of the afternoon sun. So while people are still drinking, dancing, and having a good time, it's hard to really go crazy when you realize it's only 2 p.m. Another thing about darties is that they usually take place on Sundays. That's because the Bible says that on the seventh day, the Lord created the margarita. Sunday is a great day for a darty because you can get all the fun of partying without having to stay out late. So you can get blackout drunk at 3 p.m. and still have time to submit your chemistry homework due at 11:59. Outside of that, there isn't too much else to say about parties except to be mindful of others. Parties are a great way to have fun in college, and because of this, it's not uncommon for people to try and take advantage of the situation. So try to stay close to some people that you trust, and if you're gonna drink, make sure you know your limits. And above all else, be responsible. Use your head, and don't do anything that might get you in jail or seriously injured. It's okay to have a wild night, but as long as you make it back in one piece, that's all that matters. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and drop a comment down below if there's something you want to see me talk about next. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.